What's up everybody, my name is Amir Odom and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we will be discussing LGBTQ teachers of TikTok and reacting to them because, well, far too often we're being told that there's this narrative that teachers are grooming the children, that there's too many gay stuff in the classrooms, and you have the left saying that this isn't a thing, it's not that big of an issue, and then you have the right saying it's everywhere. So we're gonna react to teachers who openly brag about what they do in their classrooms online on TikTok, and we're just gonna dive right into it. Those are children. Okay, I'm like, where? Why? In what world? This is what I don't understand, y'all. Why does a teacher find it appropriate to dress in drag, one, in elementary, middle school, probably middle school, and parade and perform in front of children? You see that in the club, okay? This whole thigh cutout and you can see the underwear. Like, in no way, shape, or form is it appropriate for children to be witnessing and seeing. And it's weird, it's creepy, and it's giving much, there's a special word for it, it starts with a P. It's giving very much those vibes, because why do you find it necessary to parade and perform in front of children? This isn't gay rights. This isn't LGBTQ friendly. This isn't something that represents me and who I am as a person. I don't want this in schools. I wouldn't want this in my own child's school. And you know, people bring up the examples of, okay, well, what about school plays? And you have men dressing up as women and this and that. That's fine to me. It's a school play. If nothing about it is sexual, then I don't see the problem with it. But this is all sexual. The dropping to the knees, the dancing, the thigh cutout, the fish, I think those are fishnets. Nothing about this serves a purpose. A play does. A story does. This isn't a story. This is a grown man performing in front of children. Nope, we're not doing this. Nope, we're not doing this. From getting into the school and you have the teachers parading the little flags and, oh my gosh, happy pride everybody, to a drag queen performance in a school with all these little kids around. This, oh my gosh, see. This is why. Like, this is why people are getting to the point where anything gay is just bad. Because you have stuff like this happening. These people think it's innocent and sweet to have a little pride parade at school, give all the kids candy, have fun music playing, rainbows, and have a little performance. But no. Teach the damn kids how to read, how to write. Like, the only way, and I've said this before in my Jubilee video, the only way I see it acceptable to have and to be teaching anything remotely gay in schools is sex ed. You're learning about sex and the different ways people have sex and what they're attracted to in sex ed. That makes sense. But to celebrate sexuality in elementary school where all these kids, they all believe in Santa, like they're children, you're just confusing them at this point. Leave it out of it. The only way I see it as appropriate is within sex ed. And I want this to be a thing where we're learning about sexuality in sex ed, and that's it. But even then, let me pull up this article. Even then, we see that that's not the case, because sex education classes often don't include LGBTQ students and new restrictions could make it worse. And that's what I don't want. We're already not seen and included in sex ed classes, and I've talked about this in my Jubilee video, and I think it's appropriate for people to learn about different sexualities in sex ed. But with how the LGBTQ community is acting and what we're seeing and what we're unfolding all the time on my channel, they're making it worse. Let's see, with Ground News, you can see the bias distribution, and you see that mostly the center is reporting this. And I wish more of the left and hell, even the right was reporting on this, but they're not. Hear me out. I think they're not, because this seems like a good compromise. This seems like a good middle ground that both the left and the right can reach, that says, hey, let's just teach, if we want representation for sexuality in school, let's teach it in sex ed and go about our day. I think that's a perfectly fine middle ground. I think that's okay to be done. I came across this information on Ground News, which is an independent app and amazing website that takes in thousands of different articles across the news and puts it all in one central location. It's easy for you to read and digest and understand what's happening in our media. I use them all the time. That's why I'm so excited and thankful for them to be a continued sponsor and supporter of this channel. And I have been really enjoying this new comparison tool, which gives you a quick glance at how the left, right, and center is framing a certain story. So as we see here, the left is focusing on advocacy group roles, while the center is emphasizing on the need for more inclusive material, and then the right is discussing the legal implications of discriminatory practices. And truly, I think none of this would be an issue if we just taught sex in sex ed and call it a day, but no. Since we have these LGBTQ teachers acting out of pocket, it ruins it for all of us. If you're interested in staying up to date on any news related to LGBTQ topics, be sure to utilize Ground News' dedicated LGBTQ page. On this page, you can see what the news regarding LGBTQ topics is most covered by and what media's bias looks like. They also have a blind spot feature that reveals what one side of the political spectrum is saying, but the other is ignoring. For example, the left is not covering the story about Biden HHS imposing gender identity pronoun mandates on employees, likely due to their own narrative priorities, because you think they celebrate that as a win, but instead they're probably furthering this narrative that, oh, trans people aren't getting any rights and trans people are moving forward. In actuality, they are. And of course, you guys know I got you a deal. You can use my link below at ground.news/Amir to subscribe for as little as $1 a month, or get 30% off unlimited access so you can stay informed on not just gay topics, but all topics surrounding the news. And you can get it from a trusted source so that you can be equipped and always see what the media is saying, what the left versus the right are saying, what's being suppressed from you, and you're just able to get a really good grasp on what's going on in the news. People ask me all the time where I get my news. It's Ground News. It's why they're sponsors, why I talk about them so much, because literally I have trust issues. I'm sure you do too. I literally, when I'm looking at the news, I'm like, how are they twisting this? What's going on here? In Ground News, it's like, it just gives it to me for what it is. There's no narrative being pushed. It's allowing me to see what everybody is saying. And I don't see anyone else doing this. So be sure to take advantage of the deal, ground.news/Amir, and we'll get you taken care of.
Always advocate for a teacher, but like, you gotta know your place. My goal is not to sit there and teach a child about sexual orientation and identity.
Right.
My job is, if Joanne has two moms, to let you know that some kids have two moms, and then we'll leave it at that. And when you say open the book and then give it to a parent, and the parent can explain whatever you as a family unit think about that. Great, but I want them to know in this classroom, it's okay that she has two moms. Some people have that. We're moving on now. I'm not gonna go into detail with you about that.
Pause. I love him. That's all I want. I want it to be known and for kids to know, and it's okay. Some people got two mamas, some people got one mom, some people got two dads, some people got one dad. That's what I mean by gay representation in as little as elementary school. That's all that needs to happen. That's it. And everything else can go right at home.
I want that student to know that she's not othered, and that's great. She has two moms, and now we're gonna move. I don't want to teach that, because quite frankly, I don't know enough about how a child will process that at 5. I just want that 5-year-old who does have two moms to feel safe.
Kudos. Clap, clap, clap. That's all that a teacher should be doing. Especially if it's not a sex ed teacher, just make it known. Like, not even have to make it known, but just it's okay for gay people to exist. And I even have to say gay people, some people got two mamas, some people got two daddies, and then keep it pushing. I don't see the problem in that. And I think teachers like that should speak up more and highlight that area, because that should be the only thing that's going on. Not this other stuff that we've been seeing and reacting to, because that is just batshit crazy. But yeah, I like this guy, and I want to see what else he has to say about this.
It's not easy being a gay teacher. I get asked a lot if I disclose my sexuality at school. I always say that my students, my colleagues, and my administrators all know I have a husband. Usually it's pretty well received. But every now and then I get a Karen who's like, oh, you talk about sex in the classroom then? No. I share that I have a husband. And they're like, well, if you're talking about your sexuality, then inadvertently you're talking about sex. All right, ma'am, pause. Let's dive deep into this. Let's talk about teachers who disclose they're pregnant. They announce their pregnancy to their students who get excited about it. A lot of times their colleagues and their administrators celebrate them with a baby shower. And essentially what they're doing is they're telling everyone at the school that they had sex that resulted in a pregnancy. And announcing you're pregnant is absolutely fine. That's great. I love supporting my colleagues who have babies. But that is inadvertently sexual, is it not? How is me saying I have a husband, me talking about my sex life in the classroom? It's not. You just have a terribly homophobic double standard.
And there's the nuance in the conversation. I think it is okay for teachers to, be openly gay, have a husband or have a wife and bring their husband to the school event. I think that's fine. And if a children is confused on why does my teacher have a husband and he's a guy, this and that, take that up with your parents. That ain't got nothing to do with me. Because at the end of the day, it exists. It's real life. Like, gay people are not going anywhere. We're not leaving. This is a thing that the kids will see. So take that up with your parent, and I think that is the parent's job to discuss this with the children. But I also think the teacher should be fine to be out and be themselves, because he brings up a very, very great point. Why is it that anything remotely gay, you got conservatives clutching their pearls and like freaking out? But like, hell, you talk about pregnant teachers, are they not parading around that they just got? What's the double standard here? Like, what are we doing? So a gay teacher can't say, yeah, I have a husband, and you find an issue with that, but a straight teacher can come to school pregnant and everybody's celebrating it and everyone's like, hooray, she got pregnant. Let's talk about it. That guy, love him. He brought up some really good things. I think that is a perfectly fine gay teacher, and I'm glad that's a relief that we've come across that.
Something's been weighing heavy on me as a trans teacher in the middle of the world as it currently exists for us. And that's how challenging it can be there for the mental and emotional well-being of my students when I'm trying to manage my own. I had such a heartbreaking conversation with a student yesterday who seemed so genuinely concerned for me. Because after I was featured several times in far-right media this year, shout out to the journalist who's been stalking me, who I hope loses her car keys and spills coffee on her white skirt today. I've not only been subject to violent threats and harassment, I've been dealing with my community making some hasty final decisions about who I am and how I teach.
Okay. So this is a respond video to how this teacher has been being treated. So I did a deep dive on this person, and it makes sense now. It really does. And we're going to get into 2 more videos from this trans teacher. At first, I want to feel bad. I don't think any teacher, trans teacher, gay, whatever, should have to go through harsh things just because of existing. The difference, though, is that this person is not just existing. This person is making a life out of being a trans TikTok teacher and highlighting all the things that they're doing in their classroom, highlighting all the ways that their kids react to them, highlighting all the things and what it's like to be a trans teacher. What do you expect in 2023 to happen to you? As sensitive as these issues are, like you just said, you opened up Pandora's box for yourself. If you were just to be a teacher and just teach and go home, I guarantee you it would not have been as big of an issue, but instead you wanted to be a trans teacher influencer, and now here we are.
Writing has been on the wall for a while.
Candace Owens slanders LGBTQ teachers. Pedophilia is around the corner. We must not give these freaks and predators such much as 1 inch. Candace, I have to teach you really said that, because I've met her. She has some really hot takes. Some of them I agree with, some of them I obviously don't. But that ties right into what I was talking about before, with how it's the LGBTQ teachers that are giving all of the regular gay people a bad rep. Regular gay people. I hate having to say that, but not all LGBTQ teachers are predators or freaks. But the squeaky wheel gets the oil, and it's the loudest ones that are causing the most uproar.
The writing has been on the wall for a while, and a storm is definitely coming now for queer teachers, and unfortunately we have been here before. In 1978, a senator from California named John Briggs proposed the Briggs Initiative, which sought to ban gay and lesbian educators from teaching in California, using basically the same tactics we're seeing now. The argument was that gay and lesbian teachers, and anybody who supported us, were basically pedophiles. It was ultimately defeated thanks in large part to this guy, but it is absolutely horrifying seeing those exact same talking points being used against us again.
You know what's funny though? They use those terms and they panicked like that for gay and lesbian teachers back in, like 50 years ago. But then for 50 years and all the way up to 2000s, 2010s, up until about 4 years ago, it's been fine because we all saw that, oh, gay teachers and lesbian teachers, they know how to act. I've had gay and lesbian teachers before in my past. They just teach and go home. But what's different and what this person, this person's trying to correlate the two, and it's not fitting. The math is a math thing, and they aren't equally the same thing. Because the trans teachers, the non-binary teachers, all of them, they're the one that people are having issue with. It's this person, this teacher, that has a classroom with a dedicated gay library that's causing the issue, okay? You're bringing this to yourself because, like you said, oh, now they're using these talking points against us. We have to rise up for queer teachers. No, fam. The LGBs have been fine. The lesbians, the gays, the bis, we've been kicking it. They've been teachers. The whole thing, it's been fine. It's been okay. We've been chilling. It wasn't until the TQ plus came around and acting wild in these schools that we have a problem with it. Why is that? Why have we been chilling for so many years? But now all of a sudden, the past 2 or 3, people acting brand new. It's because you got people like this going on TikTok and social media and making it an initiative to just be as gay as possible. I don't know how else to put it, but just they're not teaching. Just teach. And like the homeboy said before, if you got a husband, that's fine. Have a picture of you and your husband on your desk, whatever. But you have to make it your initiative to just be extra gay and have a gay classroom and be a gay safe space. Just teach. Teach.
So it's time for me to leave teaching. I never thought I was going to hear myself say that. I've been a teacher at the same school since I was 22. So 11 years, my whole career. I remember the first time I ever met another trans teacher. The way she described being treated by her school and by her community didn't seem possible. I think for a long time that image kept me in the closet. But ultimately I thought there's no way that'll happen in my home. And I've had largely a huge amount of support from my families, my community, my administration, my school, but also the ugliness is powerful too. I am really sad because I love.
And I feel like all of it would have been fine if this person would have just went about their lives. But instead, you wanted to be viral. You wanted to make social media content. You wanted to be this up and popping TikToker trans teacher, and it backfired. Because when you're making that your identity, you're making that your identity for children. If you're a math teacher and a math teacher page was your whole identity, and oh, here's different ways to teach math, here's the different ways I educate my students, that would have been fine. And you could have been trans doing that and nobody probably would even notice or said a word. But instead, you wanted to make being trans your entire identity. You wanted to exude all this gayness and to be a safe space and have all these libraries and these books, to the point where now you're leaving teaching. You're leaving your career because you shot yourself in the foot. When you're being targeted by homophobic students and you know that closeted queer kids are watching you, so you dress as gay as possible. This is what confused me so much when I first came out the closet, because I thought I had to be that. I thought that I had to wear the rainbows. I thought I had to be extra flamboyant because I thought that's the only thing. I thought that's what gay was. I thought I had to be, hey girl, like I thought I had to be the most extra rainbowy, flamboyant thing out there because it's all that I saw for gay representation. When in reality, you probably would have did much more justice if you were just yourself and they found out, like, oh shit, that teacher's gay, like they have a wife, or oh, like what, like, that would have been more impactful than you to sit here and parade literally a character trying to attract and show something for the closeted queer kids. Girl, if you don't just sit there and teach, this is like, it's disrespectful. It's like if the African American teacher decided to go ahead and have a bucket of chicken and some watermelon for us, make us feel comfortable and safe. Like, oh, I have your favorite foods. It's all good. Not all black people love chicken and watermelon. I do. That's one of my favorite meals. That shit bussin'. However, not all gay people relate to or want to, be around something as this flamboyant. This doesn't do anything for us. We don't want that. And damn, dude, like I knew it was a thing in schools, the gay teachers and the TikTokers and influencers or whatever, but like to bring it to this extent, I am baffled a little bit. I am taken back by just how bold these teachers are. Like they're pushing back, like they're being, Blair White has talked about this before, how a lot of these teachers are just grown-up activists. My kid, no. I'm not dealing with this. My kid will be in private school or homeschool, something. If not that, I will know all of their teachers, because even as a gay person, soon to be a gay parent, I say soon, give me a couple years, I wouldn't want this around my kid, because that's not an accurate representation of who we are, who my gay viewers are. We aren't this caricature, and we don't have to be. And if there's anyone in the closet that's watching me, you don't have to be that. You can just be yourself, and that's perfectly fine, and you will go about your life, and it will be okay.
All right, tell them again. Period, Pooh. Period.
I just... Why can't you just teach? I've been saying that this whole video, and I will be continuing to say that as we discover and review and react to this crazy ass world. But why can't a teacher just teach? Like, this is why so many parents are just pissed off. You're forcing these kids to call you a they and get pronouns in check. And I just can't believe that we're here. That this is the thing we're having to deal with. That this is the conversation that we're having. Teacher Roby's not a she. Teacher Roby's not a he. Teacher Roby is a they. And this kid's going to grow up, at least for the next, year or two, unless their parents intervene, if their parents even know this is even happening, believing and enforcing all these pronouns things, when it's all just stupid. It's the people like that ruin it for people like us, okay? It truly is. Read this book. This is that is indoctrination. Like, oh my God. Sometimes I feel like a she, and that's okay. Girl, if you don't tell that little boy it's okay for boys to like girl things and go about their day, what happened to the tomboys and the tomgirls? Why are we just saying any little boy that's remotely feminine, boom, you're trans, you're non-binary, you're a girl, and vice versa for girls? Oh, you're a girl, but you like manly things? You probably should be a man. You probably should transition. I can't. I'm Thank you all for supporting my content. It means the world for me. Clearly, things look a little bit different. My birthday was last week, and my mother-in-law got me a new camera. Shout out to Mama Dukes. She's the absolute best. So I'm looking crispy, clear, and heavenly. I love it so much. I have tons of more content planned for you all. Thank you. I'm so baffled. I cannot believe this is my life. I cannot believe we're past 110,000 subscribers. Thank you for sharing it. Thank you so much for supporting it. And as always, I hope that you're going out there becoming the best version of yourself, and you know that you can and will achieve anything that you put your mind to. Just focus on yourself. Put on tunnel vision. Don't pay attention to the blessings of someone else and someone else's life. Just focus on you and what you can do to improve your own life, and you will get there. Thank you again. Let me know in the comments below any other topics you'd like me to react to. I have more motivational content coming out, productivity content, more gay stuff, cultural stuff, race relations, all of it under the sun. We're diving into it. So again, thank you, much love, and I will see you in the next video. Deuces.